Thank you, Madam Chair. Gibson, Republic of Texas. Delegates, I place before you the solution to the unbalanced budget dilemma that has plagued our nation for far too long. Fiscal year after fiscal year, unbalanced budgets have continued to erode the U.S. economy, promote inflation, augment the national debt, denigrate our sovereignty as a nation, and minimize our national security. Numerous citizens such as Chuck Norris and even congressmen such as DeMint, Goodlatte, and Graham have advocated a balanced budget amendment to our Constitution. Under this proposal, should our federal government conclude a fiscal year with a deficit from an unbalanced budget, the President and Congress will be forced to forfeit their salary on a per diem basis until they make the necessary spending cuts to balance the budget. In 2010 alone, there were 9,000 pork projects totaling $16.5 billion. Congress recently spent $2.4 billion on 10 new jets that the Pentagon does not need and will not use. Congress recently gave Alaska Airlines $0.5 million to paint a Chinook salmon on a Boeing 737. The federal government made at least $98 billion in improper payments in 2009 alone. I think you get the picture, and believe me, there's much more from where that comes from. I would like to quickly clarify a few things that seem to be confusing in some previous committees. Should this amendment be ratified by the 3/4 of the states, the President and Congress would begin the very first fiscal year with a clean slate. They will not have to retroactively work for those past budget deficits. It is a clean slate. They will start that first fiscal year and have to make sure that their expenditures do not exceed their income. Also, the deficit is not the debt. The debt is an accumulation of deficits over the decades. Our congressmen overwhelmingly recognize the need for a balanced budget amendment that will force they themselves to get our fiscally derailed nation back on track. Such is shown by Representative Perello's March 16th statement when he said, "The only way to get Congress to balance budget is to give them no choice. If you don't tie our hands, we'll keep stealing." May we answer this statement by passing this proposal and by the words of Thomas Jefferson when he said, "In questions of power, let us hear no more of trust in men, but bind them down with the chains, from mischief with the chains of the Constitution." Thank you, and I yield the remainder of my time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Connor Dalton from North Carolina. I would just like to begin that we do need to tie the hands of these congressmen, but this is not the way to do it. Chuck Norris aside, I would like to begin with the fact that I myself am a fiscal conservative. So why am I speaking con? Because I believe that this is the right issue, but the wrong solution. The deficit requires a level-headed, bipartisan approach implemented over a period of years. Think, can your employer revoke all of your pay if you do your work poorly, but still make you go to work every day? Can they pay you less than minimum wage? Now I see this as an unjustified method to enforce a laudable claim. You still have to pay our public servants. Additionally, if these people enter a flawed system, we can't expect them to make the necessary revisions in so short a period of time. I would like to just inform you guys that new budgets are based on past budgets, and so there'll be a lot of revisions that need to be made. In fact, this will rush them to make hasty and illegitimate cuts in order to earn back their salaries. This proposal is wrongly an all or nothing proposal. Now let's look at the effects of this proposal on those who will be running for office. If the deficit cannot be eliminated in a short period of time, who's going to be able to run for office? Only those who have an alternative source of income. I personally feel that the free people of this nation should be able to hold office without needing an alternative source of income. We cannot punish our legally elected congressmen for the wrongs of those who filled their desk before they did, but we should encourage them to rectify those past wrongs. This is simply not the way to do it. Additionally, fellow fiscal conservatives, I urge moderation in your aims. And liberals, you should already oppose this because it restricts Keynesian economics. If you want to lower the deficit, then please cast your vote when eligible. And don't deprive legally elected congressmen of their salaries. Thank you. I yield my time.
Eastern Tennessee. My fellow delegates, I would like to impress upon you the incredible need for this proposal. It seeks to solve a major problem that affects everyone in our nation. This proposal is not requiring Congress to pay back past debts in 1 year. That'd be ludicrous. It is simply keeping them accountable for each year's budget, making sure that they don't spend more than they take in. The national debt is $13.2 trillion and growing by $4 billion every single day. This isn't the way it has to be. Government officials need to spend money more efficiently, and they're not going to do it on their own. Government auditors spent 5 years studying federal programs and determined that 22% of them don't show any positive effect on the populations they serve. The U.S. Defense Department wasted $100 million on unused airplane tickets and never bothered to collect refunds, even though they were refundable. Congress has ignored efficiency recommendations from their own Department of Health and Human Resources that could save $9 billion a year. The U.S. Postal Service pays 1,125 employees every day to literally sit in an empty room and do nothing. Congressional spending has increased tenfold in 30 years and tripled since 1990. Ladies and gentlemen, this has to stop. The interest alone is $209 billion annually, and it's only getting worse. This proposal will make it extremely clear to officials that this is unacceptable. Now, some may say that if the people don't like the spending, they won't re-elect the officials. But the fact is, there isn't a choice. It's between one representative who wastes taxpayers' money and another representative who wastes taxpayers' money. Republicans do it, Democrats do it, incumbents do it, new officials do it, it doesn't matter. We can't tolerate it any longer. 57% of Americans want to cut in government spending, 23% want a complete freeze. That's 80% of our citizens that want the government to stop wasting their money.
Sorry, delegate, your time has elapsed.